I had the experience, which I think a lot of people do, which is when I was a kid and kind of going through and learning grammar, regardless of whatever language it was, it always felt a little bit arbitrary. It felt a little bit like, you have to do this because you have to do this, and that's just a rule, and that's, oh my God. And that obviously meant I didn't learn anything because I didn't care too much about it. Now, second round, I get to go into battle again with all of this stuff, and now my perception feels completely different.
Okay.
I could still be wrong, and maybe this is way more trivial than I'm making it sound. But if we kind of relate, there's language as the spoken thing that organically develops, and then we have grammar as the second component. And if we kind of relate this to the chicken and egg thing, what came first?
Okay.
It seems like language came first. People speak, they talk, we all whatever can communicate.
Yeah.
We don't even necessarily know what the grammar of it is. And then grammar came as a way to structure what was already there. So it was literally there's this thing that we all do. Can we try to understand what the crap this is and try to create boxes and structures? So really grammar isn't arbitrary, at least not, I say this type of grammar with what we're dealing with now, but it's instead a way to show and understand what the hell is language really. Is that a legit take or is that off?
I love it because lot to unpack.
Oh no!
No, you found the hornet's nest.
Oh no! Here we go. Oh my God.
All right. So where I'm totally with you is that spoken language. That's where it all happens. Okay. So spoken language, that is language in its natural habitat. That's language that happens under real-time conditions. And it's those real-time conditions, our memory constraints, the context that we can make use of, my idea of what you know, that I know, that you know. So all of that shapes the way that I'm talking, okay? And then linguistic expressions and words and sequences of words that I use very often in that kind of situation, that leads to generalizations, patterns, structures that we can describe as grammar. All right. So to me, to my mind, and to the minds of the linguists of my generation, grammar is not this abstract system of rules that puts things in boxes and categorizes things in right and wrong. Rather, grammar is the knowledge of generalizations based on linguistic use that speakers have. Okay, so that means a couple of things. That means that grammar is a lot more messy than you are commonly told. Yeah. It also means that grammar is a lot more organic than what you're commonly told. And it means that grammar changes all the time.
That's probably where the don't take word classes too seriously.
Exactly. Yeah. So elements can change from one word class to the other, or actually, key is still a noun in the English language. It's just that it has spawned off one version of itself that has become something else. Yeah. So grammar, in my mind, is what allows you and me to put words together, to communicate, to interact. So we draw on certain generalizations, on certain structures. But none of that is really fixed or fixed for all times. It's conventions that are in place right now. Yeah. So there are clearly normal ways of saying things, and there are unconventional or weird ways of saying things. And grammar is basically the framework that lets you pick the conventionalized and the things that your hearer would expect and that they can easily work with. Yeah. So in that sense, grammar you could think of it as a courtesy to the hearer. I'm using what you can easily work with, and that of course is good for you, but it's also good for me because I can make sure that my message comes across. Yeah. So just to give you a quick example of how this shakes out in the real world. Lots of languages have what are called passive constructions. Okay. So I can say, I can formulate an active sentence like, okay, Shakespeare wrote that book, or I can say that book was written by Shakespeare. What's the point of having the two?
And the passive construction is obviously the latter. The book was written by Shakespeare.
Yeah.
That is actually, what is the point of that? Why would we not have just the first one?
Those two sentences, they mean
Same thing.
more or less the same thing. Yeah. So I mean, we could try and come up with some kind of difference, and but it's not like they would refer to different states of affairs. The state of affairs is kind of the same. But what's different in the two sentences is the sequence of the two elements that we're talking about. Yeah. So in Shakespeare wrote the book. Shakespeare comes first, book comes second. The book was written by Shakespeare. It's the other way around. And there are lots of construction pairs in languages that allow you to do that kind of flip. Yeah. So I gave Mary the book. I gave the book to Mary. Same idea, but I have two elements that are flipped around.
And this occurs in, I say, generally across languages. This isn't something that's unique to.
No, it's not unique to English. It's
So what the crap is the reason? Why does this exist across languages? Why would we have such constructions?
Okay, why do our languages allow us to flip things around? Yeah. So there's one general principle. When I tell you about an idea, I usually start with something that you already know to make the connection. Mm-hmm. And then if I want to introduce a new idea, that new idea comes at the end. Yeah. All right. So if I have two constructions that allow me to, play around with the order of elements, I will, to the best of my abilities, predict which of the ideas that I'm talking about is the least familiar to you. So, what's the new information? And I will do everything in my powers to put that idea at the end, at the end of the utterance, so that you have all the puzzle pieces that you need in place, that you can just take that final puzzle piece and put it into the place where it belongs.
That sounds hilarious. So if I say I saw the Batman yesterday, and then now you have that information, and then I say it, referring to the Batman, was a great movie.
Yeah.
So the great movie is the new information. I put that last.
Yeah.
Is that that's the idea, right? That's the idea.
That's the idea.
Is that empirically supported as well?
Yeah. The data is about
overwhelming,
as solid as you as you can wish for.
So that's why we allow to switch between those constructions. We can move it depending on what information is new. That's the idea.
Yeah. Wow. And I can just just to give you an example of where this suddenly explains something that might otherwise strike you as odd. So I can say I gave the book to Mary. I can say I gave Mary the book. but I cannot say I gave the book her. That sounds weird. Yeah?
Because we don't know who her is? No, that's not. Maybe if you
Even
mentioned
if we-
before,
even-
if Mary's in the
even
room, we
if we-
can say it. Yeah, that's right. Why? Yeah, sorry.
And well, why would there be such, sometimes your language doesn't allow you to say things in a certain way. Yeah? And this is the kind of thing that keeps syntacticians, so people who are dealing with
Awake at night.
words and phrases, they,
Nightmares and famous. There we go.
and of course, I gave the book her is in blatant violation of this idea where you put the known entity first and the new entity second. Yeah, so it sends like this weird mixed message. Wait, you have a new entity, but you refer to it with a pronoun. That's weird. That is just not something that works. Yeah.
But could you say I gave the book to her?
Yeah, sure. That you can say.
But you need the preposition to her. I gave the book
Yeah.
to her. But that would be the same thing even if we
Yeah.
made her a named entity. I gave the book to Mary. We couldn't say I gave the book Mary. That would still, we need the preposition to. But wouldn't it work in both situations?
The reason that I gave the book to her works is that so there her is pragmatically special. So in the sense of no, I didn't give the book to him. I gave it to her. So there, the pronoun actually carries the most important new information because it's a contrast to something that the hearer expects. Yeah. So there are some subtleties with regard to that, but in general terms, so the general principle that you have constructions where the order of constituents can be rearranged, that is very much sensitive to the idea of information that is already shared between the speaker and the hearer and information that is new to the hearer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is something that just that I find really mind-boggling. That as a speaker, now you don't just formulate sentences to express your ideas. At the same time,
Jesus
you
Christ,
do-
it's so silly.
you-
Not silly, but it's just
you do all this mental bookkeeping of what you can expect your interlocutor to know or even just to figure out and what will be completely new to them. Yeah. So, and that is something that, for example, kids learn at astonishingly early age. Yeah. So that they don't just assume that everyone knows what they know. Yeah. So in very young children, arguably they're struggling with that. But that is something that from a very early age on we train. Yeah? So it's something that is socially really important to monitor the states of consciousness and knowledge of the people that are around us so that we can effectively collaborate with them. Yeah. So and language is sensitive to that, and our grammar has that kind of function built into it through these constructions with movable parts.